exciting episode of the Media Boat Podcast, your weekly run where we talk movies, TV, music, and video games, but not necessarily in that order. My name is Mike. His name is Matt.
My name is Matt. His name is Mike. Thank you for joining us on the Media Boat Podcast this week. It is May 22nd, 2026, and it is episode 539.
Yep, and it's our Memorial Day weekend episode,
Woo.
which means we get to take a look at the box office. But we'll get there and make our predictions. Because first, we got to start all the way at the top, as we do with the music section. Start the music section with the Billboard. Start the Billboard with the Hot 100. And the hottest song in the land is Choose Texas by Ella Langley.
Still,
Yep. And right behind that, at number two, is Ella Langley with Be Hurt. Still at number two. At three, we have Man I Need by Olivia Dean. At four, I Just Might by Bruno Mars. And running your top five, So Easy to Fall in Love by Olivia Dean.
yep.
As for your albums chart, your Billboard 200, at number one is still The Great Divide by Noah Kahan. At two, Dandelion by Ella Langley. At three, Green Green EP by Cortis. Don't know what this is. At four, The Problem himself, Morgan Wallen. And right at your top five, your surprise from last week, hanging over this week, Thriller by Michael Jackson. Yes, that Thriller by yes, that Michael Jackson.
For reasons that will become apparent when we get to the movie section.
Yeah, we have some L's to take down there, but we'll get there because we got to continue this with, if you like any of those albums, we have new releases, starting with Who's Keeping Time by Alela Diane. Everyone for 10 Minutes by Bleachers. Yes, those Bleachers.
Yes.
And lastly, From a Hole in the Floor to the Fountain of Youth by Future Islands.
hmm
Not those present day ones.
No.
All right. Are you planning to listen to that Bleachers album?
No. I don't really care for Bleachers.
Oh,
Outside of his production work, I'm not really that big of a Jack Antonoff guy.
okay. Even though he did produce this, I assume.
I would assume, but I guess I like just like when he works with other people.
Okay. Now he works with his own material.
I guess not.
All right. Well, let's get into our music news. And speaking of working with their own material, Ed Sheeran is missing. Well, we don't really know where he is, like physically, but we also don't know where he is management wise because Ed Sheeran has left Warner Music after 15 years and 8 albums. The singer announced via statement to fans in his newsletter. The news was confirmed by the company in a statement to the UK publication Music Week. Quote, this isn't a disgruntled artist leaves record label type situation. This is Ed Sheeran speaking, by the way, not the management, to point out. Who wanted to say, quote, this is a boy who started as a teenager on the company with different priorities. To the father of two men who exist now, who feels he needs a shift and change in the way he does things professionally.
That's a lot of words for
Close
Ed
quote.
Sheeran. Yeah, that's a lot of words for Ed Sheeran to basically just say he wants to work with a different company.
Yeah, this all reads as just I grew as a person.
Mhm.
I have different priorities now, and I want to test the free agency market.
Yeah, basically, it is kind of baseball player of him, isn't it? Yeah, why not? Go for it, Ed. Go find whoever wants to make your music on your terms. I don't know.
He might go back to Warner Music if they make him a good offer.
Maybe.
But, but he's just basically playing the free. This is just plays the free agency game. It's
Yep.
I am done with my contract. I've made all the albums I said I was going to make. I made Warner a bunch of money. Anyone else wants some of that money and maybe pay me a little bit more in percentage and royalties, and I'll write the new terms of my contract instead of what I wrote when I was a teenager.
Probably. It'll probably be a little bit more favorable for him, I would guess.
Yeah, and that does come with being an artist of a generation, being
Mhm.
an artist who has written many hits, despite what you may think of him. He does have the hits and the catalog, and with all that, the luxury to essentially play the free agency market here.
It's true.
Now, how long till him and Taylor Swift team up to just make their own label?
Honestly, I'm surprised that hasn't happened yet.
All right. Well, as we wait for Ed Sheeran's next move, we got to move to music. Did you listen to anything?
No, not really. Just doing some catch up.
Okay, it looked like you were going to put something here that you didn't.
No, nothing.
I did not. I can tell you that this household here has listened to and has contributed to Dandelion being number 2 on the Billboard constantly,
There you go.
but not with the 2 hits you're thinking of. No, we love Froggy, the opening
Froggy.
song, the opening 15-second song on the album. We love Froggy here in this household.
Good to know. Apparently the ACMs love it too. They showered Ella Langley with awards this past week, including Entertainer of the Year. So there you go, Ella Langley.
Yes, but she did not win the big prize, Album of the Year,
No,
because she was not nominated for Album of the Year, but she did win single and she did win was it song and single,
I
which are
see.
two different things for some reason. Uh,
Maybe it's like the
yeah,
production
the
versus
producer
writing kind of
producer.
thing.
Yep.
Yeah,
But yeah, and then she also performed uh, right after Casey Musgraves performed, which is really great to have them back to back and not to have to sit and wait for the whole thing to like, okay, then they go, then they go.
for you guys, yeah, that works out
Oh
perfectly.
yeah, worked great here in this household. But yeah, Cody Johnson surprised with that Album of the Year.
I see. Okay. There's your country music minute
That's your
from the Media Boat
ACM
podcast.
wrap up.
Yeah,
Because yes, we did watch it live.
I bet you did.
Yes, we did. All right, let's move on then into video games, where we start with new releases and a couple of big hitters, including Busby 4D for
But
everything. Wide release. You got it. You can play it.
that's Bubsy, not Busby.
Isn't that what I said?
No, you said Busby like Busby Berkeley.
Oh
No,
no, Bubsy.
Bubsy.
Yes,
Bubsy.
yes, in 4D this time. So get your noses
Okay.
ready.
Yeah, it smells terrible. Just like smells like a litter box in there. It's really awful.
We also have Echo, 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 Echo Generation 2 for the PC and the Xbox Series X. But then your 3 big hitters of the week.
Sure.
And it's a big hit when you have Nickelodeon Extreme Tennis, colon, next,
Yeah, I don't
with
really
the exclamation
understand.
point.
I don't really understand the next part, but sure, it's a tennis game with Nickelodeon characters. Why not?
Yeah, it's for the PC, PS5, Xbox Series X, and the Switch. We also have 007 First Light for the PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X. It's finally here.
Yes, expect reviews to hit pretty soon now, I would think, for the get that game. I'm really curious to see how that's received.
But everything get out of the way. Summer game has officially arrived that everyone's going to pick up and play. Lego Batman, Legacy of the Dark Knight for the PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X.
Yeah, and you'll be telling us all about your thoughts about that game in full later, after the news story here. But yeah, you've already been playing Lego Batman and you've been streaming it on twitch.tv/MediaBoat.
Aha, I knew it was you who tuned into the stream.
I didn't actually. I just saw the email.
Okay. All right. I knew it was you, listener, who tuned into the
Yeah,
stream.
somewhere out there.
All right. Well, then, let's get into our video game news so we can get to that.
Hmm.
Starting with Destiny 2.
Hmm.
Well, if you're expecting Destiny 3,
Hmm.
I've got some bad news for you.
Yeah.
Bungie has announced that it's ending updates for Destiny 2 to focus on developing not Destiny 3, but instead new games and IP. In an update posted on its website, the studio confirmed that it will release the final live service content update for Destiny 2 on June 9th. The final update will add a collection of love letters to players based on the most common player requests, Bungie said, including the return of the director and other modes. And, quote, small character beats to leave the story and characters in interesting places. The news follows declining player numbers for the live service shooter and a disappointing recent expansion.
I think when Marathon launched, everyone was kind of thinking, wow, Bungie's going to be spreading themselves pretty thin between this and Destiny 2. How long, realistically, are they going to support Destiny 2? And what do you know?
Here's
There's
your
our
answer.
answer. This makes sense. I mean, there's only so many resources. Bungie probably wants to focus on Marathon being their number one product right now, and Sony, who owns Bungie, as a reminder, probably wants them to have the availability of staff to work on new projects. So this is what had to give. And you know what? It's been like 12 years since that game came out. It's lived a very long life. Some expansions were better than others. Sometimes some highs were higher than others during the history
Mhm.
of Destiny 2. I checked in every once in a while, every few years on that game, and it's still a great game with a lot of cool stuff in it. But like any live service game, you're gonna have like people going in and out because it's not as good as it used to be, or something's missing because they took it out. Like, the back and forth realistic like dev cycle of a live service game hit Destiny 2 quite a lot. But we can celebrate the legacy it's had. We can celebrate it as being one of the most successful live service games. It kind of created a modern template that a lot of other games have followed, and it remained a quality shooter throughout those years. So,
Mhm.
congratulations, really, are in order, I think, for Bungie for running such a successful game as long as they did.
I mean, coming out in an era of loot boxes when everyone turned heavily against loot boxes,
Mm.
Destiny 2 continued, Destiny and Destiny 2 both continued to pump out large of players on a concurrent basis.
Yeah.
And I want to say the decline actually started around when the final shape expansion, because that was two expansions ago. And
Yeah.
whenever I saw the final shape, like, oh, this is the final expansion. They call it
It's
the
like,
final
no.
shape. And then they did another one. And it's like, oh, I thought we were ending that for Destiny 3 because it's been several years, but okay, I guess.
I
And then
think,
Marathon happened.
yeah, and that's the other question, right? Is like, they more or less have confirmed that this does not mean that there will be a Destiny 3. And, you know, I understand why. And like, part of me is like kind of sad. But at the same time, I'm like, you know what? They kind of did it. They made Destiny the most Destiny that they could make. And you know what? I think it's cool that they're getting a chance to move on to something new. So I'm very interested to see one, what the future of Marathon has in store, and two, maybe whatever new is cooking up in the Bungie labs. They're a talented group of developers, clearly, and I'm always interested to see what they have.
Be interesting to see Marathon staying power if they shift full forces and resources to Marathon.
That's true. Yeah, and we might see that pretty soon here, with people kind of shipping this final update to Destiny 2.
Yep, and also just a nice goodbye to Destiny 2. Had your
Yeah, it's
time in the sun.
cool that they're giving it
They're
like
not
a
just going to
proper send
sunset it
off.
like, hey, you have 6 months left to play it, and we're going to shut down the
Right.
servers.
They're not cutting you off yet, Destiny people.
Yes,
Just give it some time.
the servers are not going away.
No.
All
Yeah,
right,
they're not shutting it down.
they're just not going to provide any more content beyond
Right. Yeah,
June 9th.
June 9th.
Yep.
All right.
All right. Okay. Well, that's not the news I thought we were going to do, but okay.
Oh, the Xbox is all caps now thing? Yeah.
Yes.
Well, because we're an audio podcast, so that doesn't mean anything unless we start yelling Xbox, which I'm not going to because,
But I
apartment.
do when it's in
Uh,
all caps and or exclamation point.
so just imagine that every time we say Xbox from now on, we are yelling it.
We are screaming Xbox.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just trust us.
All right. Well, have you been playing anything? Tell me, what's new on the island?
Oh, Tamagotchi Life update? Oh, God, what's going on? Not much, actually. We've kind of slowed our roll a bit with our Tamagotchi island because we've been a little busier this week. Someone in this household is training for a 5K, so that has taken a little bit of precedent. And it's not me, by the way. Not that you needed to guess. So yeah, I think what I told you last week is probably the most relevant update. Um, yeah, I think that's where we left it.
Okay. Well, then let's get into what I've been playing and
Hmm.
streaming. So
Yes.
first off, Pragmata update. I finished the game. I beat it. I streamed it. Hopefully you were there to catch me
I
beating the game live.
missed it,
Uh,
unfortunately.
that's okay. I guess I'll just have to beat the game again.
Again?
Which it did open up New Game Plus, bunch of other modes, bunch of other challenges. So I'm going to go back and play it. And normally I would because I liked the game. I liked the story. I liked the connection, the bond. It did kind of go in a very predictable route towards the end. I was like, okay, I see what you're doing here about like halfway through. I see, like, that's the twist, but also I saw that twist coming with how like the layout of the game was. Um, but overall, I was satisfied with the twist. I wasn't like, oh, I saw that twist coming a mile. I was like, yeah, no, that's what's supposed to happen. That's the right twist you're supposed to have here. So it wasn't a negative twist reaction for me. It twisted in a good way. But yeah, there's still a lot for me to go back and upgrade. So a lot for me to go back and complete. And then also there's the super hard difficult challenge mode, which I probably am not going to do in order to platinum the game.
No, not really worth it.
Not really. I mean, having completed the game, I do finally realize that the levels are pretty short. I just made it really long because I kept going back and forth and trying to
Sure.
find everything.
Yeah.
So that's on me in my gameplay. But overall, it does. If you like completely like skip all the cutscenes and just go straight through blasting everything, it is a really fast game, but also a really fun and rewarding game as well. And does play into the fact that you do go back through the levels and collect everything,
Yeah.
which is nice. I love it when
Yeah.
games do that.
Yeah. Cool. All
And
right.
yeah, so that was Pragmata.
Speaking of collecting things.
Yes, and going back to levels to collect things. I am currently and thoroughly and fully, let's say, invested in the new Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight game. And I knew this was going to be my summer game coming into the year, and I can gleefully say that I did pay for the deluxe edition.
Of course you did.
Because thinking about it, I was like, it's an extra $20 for all the extra costume packs, plus the extra DLC that'll come out in September. And knowing how DLC usually works, it's gonna be about $20 anyways, just for the DLC. And then you have to pay for the extra skins. I was like, "Oh, I'll just do it right now.
Just do
Just,
it.
just
Yeah.
do it. Because I know I'll be happy with it. And I can tell you, I am happy and satisfied with it so far. It's a Telltale game from the same people who did the Skywalker Saga, Lego Skywalker Saga, and it plays very similar to the Arkham Knight games, where the combat is smooth, it's free flowing. You're flipping and dodging back and forth across everyone, building up your hit meter combo, and it's in a very fun Lego aesthetic.
One quick note. Telltale is a different company. TT Games makes the Lego games. They were formerly known as Traveler's Tales.
That's right, Traveler's Tale, Telltale.
Yeah. Now, Telltale makes the
Yes,
narrative games.
yes, TT. I had TT in my head. I was like, that's Telltale. No, yes, but yes, thank you for that correction.
Hmm.
But yeah, it plays fun like any other Lego game. Oh,
Yeah.
except for the Horizon Lego game.
Well, that was different.
Yes. Also,
Yeah.
I felt like since that was the last Lego game that I played, this feels a lot smoother, a lot more traditional of what I feel like a Lego game
Right.
should be,
Yeah.
especially once you get into the open world setting
Yeah.
of driving around, just smashing through everything, driving the Batmobile
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
around, just collecting all the snuds.
Yeah. No pun intended, but it builds on the foundation of the previous Lego Batman games. Is very much seems like a hybrid of those that feel plus those Arkham games. It's like seems like pretty ideal Batman game. Is that how you've been feeling so far?
This is a Batman game if
Yeah.
you've only paid attention to the Batman movies and not necessarily the Batman comic books.
Sure, I guess.
Because those Batman Lego games and like the DC Villains games as well are more for like comic book fans who know of like the different Batman stories that they tell years and years and years, like condensed into here.
Mm,
But if you're a fan of the Batman movies, of any version of them, or even the Batman TV show, or the animated show,
mm.
or the crossover show,
Yeah.
that you're gonna like this specific version of Lego Batman because it plays into, oh, okay, I know like this version from the movie, like this scene from the movie. It connects to this scene from this other movie, and it connects to this other scene from this other version. So it helps play that into a very interconnected Batman universe to where you are the same Batman. Whereas with the movies, you're like, oh, that's just a different person playing Batman, but it's really the same character. They just recast him. But here, it's the same Batman, going through the same motions, going through the same story beats, but
Yeah.
all interconnected. And it's really nice. It's really well done how they do that. It does feel like the Christopher Nolan trilogy does take a little bit more center stage than some of the other stuff, but also because it's one of the more prominent Batmans of the recent times.
And also the title kind of gives that away.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
legacy of the Dark Knight.
Mm.
Because,
Cool.
if you're going to build a foundation for a Lego Batman game based on a movie, you might as well do it on the best Batman movie ever made, The Dark Knight.
I guess so. So is this going to, do you believe this is going to fulfill the promise that you hoped it would as your summer game? Is there a lot of content in here to kind of dissect?
Oh, yeah, a lot of content, a lot of stuff to 100%, and I'm
Nice.
very invested in 100%ing Lego games.
All right, cool. So you'll have future updates, I'm sure, for us as you tear through these bricks.
Yeah, and this is one game that I know that I can come back to when I do have the time. It's
Yeah.
not something that's very story driven, heavily story
No.
driven, to where if I don't play it for a week or two, I kind of forget where I'm at.
And you're not going to forget mechanics and stuff. Like it's all pretty simple.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah, the only thing that will prevent me is like, oh, that's right, I was supposed to unlock the next area. And then once you do that, like, okay, now I'm doing cleanup in this area. And oh
Yeah.
yeah, I gotta go back and do all these missions here, which, will build and play upon itself the further I get to the game. So right now I'm trying to mainline some story missions just to open up some more worlds instead of going like, oh, get this, get this, get this, because I still need to unlock all the. That is the one thing that may irk some Lego fans is that the character roster is not your 100,000 Lego
No.
characters that you've seen like in the Skywalker saga. But I think that actually works to its advantage because you're only playing as certain characters anyways in those sagas, in those
Hmm.
other Lego games because of their specific abilities. So what they did is just they pared it down to here's your seven characters with seven unique abilities
Right.
instead of here's one ability spread over across five different characters and you get to pick which character.
And also, let's be honest, you're gonna want to mostly be Batman.
Well, yeah, you're gonna run around mostly as Batman with a sidekick. So
Yeah.
the sidekick is rotational. Technically, your main characters are rotational as long as there's two of them on screen because Lego game just built into their mechanic.
I mean, it makes sense when you think about those minifigs. The heads do fully rotate.
Mhm. Like this. Well, can't rotate my head like that
No,
quickly.
we are not capable of that. We are not minifigs, sadly,
As much as we'd love to believe we are.
as much as we'd love to be. Okay, cool. So that's Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight.
Mhm.
Sounds like one of those good ass Lego games.
Yep, this is a good Lego game that you'll be
Cool.
happy to enjoy and play.
Yeah. All right, cool.
Also, couch co-op. Bring it back.
Nice.
Still there.
Good to have. Good to have.
Yeah.
All right, cool. If that's it, then let's move on.
Yep, let's move on into television, where we start with the Sports Quarter.
The Sports Corner. All right. What do we got this week
All
in
right.
sports?
This past weekend, we saw the end of a race, as
Yes.
there'll be no Triple Crown winner this year. The Preakness, the second in that Triple Crown leg, was won by a different horse. So
Yep.
we're done with Triple Crown talk
Again.
till next May.
Yep.
All right. But we also have the end of a drought and the crowning of a new champion over at the PGA,
Hmm.
as the PGA Championship winner was Aaron Rai with -9 on the day or on the weekend
Hmm.
on the range.
Something like that.
Yeah. -9 over the 4 days. Congratulations. I told you didn't have to worry about learning Smalley or Maxwell's names, whoever they are.
Turns out.
Yeah. Fun fact about this. So Aaron Rai, he is English and the first Englishman to win the PGA Championship since 1998 or something.
Well,
Because technically, Rory's not English.
right. Yes.
But it is the upcoming Memorial Day weekend, and we have a bevy of car racing events
Hmm.
for you to choose from. Whether you're interested in the Monaco Grand Prix, or maybe you're interested in the Indianapolis 500, the one race out of the year you actually watch the Indy cars.
Not me, but someone.
Yes. Or you have NASCAR's longest race of the season, the Coca-Cola 600.
Delicious.
600?
600 Cokes?
Yeah.
Let's go. Sounds like a weekend.
Sounds like someone's afternoon.
Not mine.
No. But I heavily advise trying to drink 600 Coca-Colas during the
During this
race.
one every lap. I mean, if they're maybe the mini ones, but even that's pushing it. I don't know. That's a lot of Coca-Colas. Let's
Maybe
actually
you,
not recommend that.
no, we do not recommend that.
No.
All right. Well, we'll talk about NASCAR in a bit because
Yeah, we will.
they had a wild week. But we're going to go over into the NFL, where the famed Chicago Bears, the terror of Midway, have reiterated and all but confirmed that they will be moving ahead with plans to no longer be in Chicago as they continue to look at building a stadium either in suburban Illinois or maybe northern Indiana. But
Sure.
they're looking to be no longer actually be in Chicago, no longer be in famed Soldiers Field.
I mean, it wouldn't be the first time that an NFL franchise is not where it says they are on the label. So sure. But yeah, I don't know. They've been talking about this for years, so it's interesting that it's finally going to happen.
Yeah, they said that they've tried to talk with the city. They tried to bargain with the city about creating a
Hmm.
stadium in Chicago,
Yeah,
and they're not having it.
they're not
They're,
interested in it. No.
well, okay, they're not interested in funding the
Mhm.
billionaire's dream of paying half of the stadium
Right, exactly.
or more than half.
Yeah, they just don't want to pay for it.
Yeah. Speaking of building stadiums over in the MLB, the
Yes.
well, I guess they're no longer Oakland. The
The A's
Sacramento A's,
currently, but officially just the A's.
yeah, the A's, the Athletics,
Hmm.
um, are currently on schedule to open their 2026 8 season in Las Vegas with that $2 billion stadium.
Yeah.
So far, it's going good. So far, construction is on schedule. Kind of happens to be when you don't live in a rainy climate and you have to
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
rework everything.
Turns out when things are built in Vegas, they are built quickly because constantly things are built in Vegas. Like it's just what they do out there. They're constantly building new stuff. And so,
I
yeah,
mean,
not
what else is there to
surprising.
do out there?
Exactly, right? Gamble and build. That's all you do. But soon, play baseball when they finish this and they have a team officially.
Yep. And then Pete Rose will continue turning over in his grave.
Oh, no. He's not dead, right?
Isn't he?
Is he not? Wait, did he? No. Yes. Did he?
Yes. Yes, he did.
Last year? Like recently, right?
Recently.
Okay. I forgot about that. Wow. Okay. Time goes quickly, doesn't it? Anyway.
Anyways, speaking, while we're talking on the subject of MLB, we
Yeah,
got some winners. There's 5 teams who are currently over 30 wins.
it's true.
But, you know, with everyone that's above and like doing good, there's also a couple teams that are struggling
Yeah.
because currently there are 2 teams under 20 wins. Everyone else is within that 10 win range right there in the 20s. But talking about stinkers here,
Hmm.
the Rockies, well, we knew they were bad, but they only have 19 wins on the season. But they're not at the bottom.
No, they're not.
Rocky
They're not
Mountain
the worst.
High,
Yeah.
as they are still higher than that of the Angels, currently sitting at 17 wins.
Currently the worst team in baseball. But hey, what are you going to do? Play
Pay
the
them,
game of baseball correctly? It,
have a
of
better
course,
bullpen.
yeah, right. It coincides with the home games lately being dominated by crowds of people doing sell the team
Mhm.
chants. So yeah, the fans are not happy about the performance of the team, and they're making it heard. Whether this will actually change anything and whether Artie Moreno will actually listen to this is still up for debate and seems unlikely.
I mean, there are scheduled protests to sell the team that we
All right.
do know of, as we do live in
Yes.
the Los Angeles Angels area.
But after the 5K happens,
Yes,
let's let that happen first. If I'm to be selfish for a second.
you can be selfish as much as you want. All
So
right.
yeah, baseball
Yep,
happening
baseball still happens. Baseball's still baseballing. Once we get out of this upcoming weekend, all-star ballots will shortly be going out. You, the fans, can place your votes.
very soon here. Yeah.
All right, let's go over then into the playoffs,
Yes.
where NHL, we have the number one Golden Knights currently taking a 1-0 lead versus the number one ranked Avalanche, who had the best record in hockey this past season.
Mhm.
All those wins, you can't win a ring. Sounds familiar. Anyways, that's what's happening over in the West. Over
Mhm.
in the East, the number one Hurricanes are currently losing to down 0-1 to the Canadians. Like, sorry, the number three
Mm.
Canadians. So yep, they'll continue. Those series are currently in motion through this
Yep.
week and next. And I think by the time we record, if all goes to according to plan, we will know who will be in the Stanley Cup Finals.
Very soon.
Over in the other playoffs, the NBA, the number one Thunder and the number two Spurs are currently tied in their series 1-1 over in the West. And then we have the number three Knicks taking a 2-0 lead over the number four Cavaliers in the East. And if things continue like this, the Knicks would be in the NBA Finals since the 90s. You can hear the the fans of the Knicks celebrating and dreaming and hoping. that this could just be it because they're playing the Cavaliers, the LeBron-less Cavaliers.
Yep. Yep. The city of New
Um,
York is probably more excited about basketball than they have been in a very long time.
yep. But we need to talk about how the NBA hands out its awards real quickly
Oh, yeah.
because they gave out the MVP award on Sunday morning, 9:30 in the morning,
Okay.
2 hours before the start of the Thunder versus Spurs game.
Is it because that's the MVP for the regular season and not the playoffs?
Correct. This is the MVP for the
Yeah,
regular season
makes
that
sense.
they voted on way back
Hmm.
when the regular season ended,
Hmm.
before the conference finals,
Yeah.
and they decided to announce it at 9:30 in the morning
It's
on a Sunday. Just randomly, here you go. Here's the announcement.
pretty weird.
No big like show for it. No big like huzzah. We're presenting you now. No.
Nothing. Weird.
No. Yeah. Well, they did it. They had to announce it because before the start of the game, they presented him with the MVP trophy. Almost as if, they purposely waited to see if the Thunder would even make it to the Western Conference Finals.
I'm sorry,
Because,
did you mention who won?
yes, uh, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander with his second MVP title in a row,
Got it.
which mm, is very controversial currently over in the NBA talk
Hmm.
because he did not lead in any of the major categories.
Okay.
He was number two in a lot of those categories,
Sure.
but he was also on the Thunder, who had the best record in the NBA.
So it averages out.
That's how a lot of people are rationalizing this.
Yeah. Because if the number one guy was that good, his team would have made it. Right?
That's
That would
because
be the argument.
yeah, but except the number one guy could either be Jokic, like we talked about before,
Hmm.
or Victor Wembanyama, who
Right.
was on the Spurs, who had to sit on the bench and watch the
Yeah.
commissioner present Shai Gilgeous-Alexander the MVP trophy to a guy who did not win the scoring title, as
Oops.
you, Victor Wembanyama, who had the scoring title, had to sit on the sidelines and watch this happen.
I mean, yeah, it goes to show you that these awards are not, it's not as easy as just looking at the stats and being like, well, that one's at the top, so that guy wins. I, in a way, actually think it should be more complicated than that, right? Like, you want to honor multiple dimensions of what makes an athlete great. So, being part of a winning team does seem like that would be an asset that is like one of those, say, intangibles that you can't see on a stat sheet, right?
You would say that, but then you have to explain how Shohei Ohtani was able to win MVP while being on the Angels.
Well, because even though he was on the Angels, he was still doing things that nobody had ever done before. That's
Right.
again an intangible that's outside of the stats, right? So you're really just proving my point in a way.
Yeah, I might just be. All right. Anyways, that's the sports corner.
Sounds like you're just bitter.
Could be. All right. Let's get to some TV news.
Yeah, if that's it for sports, we can move on into some television bits. Let's blaze through all of the things, the many, many things that are happening in the television this week. We start with Bulgaria. Sounds weird, but it makes sense if you've been paying attention to Eurovision. I know I haven't.
Uh,
Dara from Bulgaria was crowned the winner of the 70th Eurovision Song Contest with a song called Bangaranga, or alternatively, Bangaranga. You choose at home. Bulgaria received a total of 516 points and won both the national jury's 204 points and the public vote 312 points. So, congratulations?
as a
Question mark.
clean sweep, there's no like if, ands, or debate about this. This
Sure.
does mean that Bulgaria is on the clock to host next year's Eurovision Song Contest.
Yeah, of course. a lot of the rest of the existence of Eurovision and who was able to compete was in debate. Plenty. So there was more room for debate elsewhere. Anyway,
Yes, because with Eurovision, because the entirety of the continent votes for it,
yeah.
plus Canada,
And
that
Australia and all sorts of weird
yep,
situations.
that sometimes politics do play
Yeah.
into like who gets the victory here.
They definitely did this time, but we do not have time to cover it. So,
No,
or
we
to
do not.
recover it. I think we already did talk about it briefly before on this podcast.
Oh, we've talked about it before with Eurovision
Yes.
when it
But right
pops
now we
up.
have to move on. Tom Hardy is your next news story. He's been fired from the television show Mobland following the completion of production for season two. Sources say that Hardy was not asked to return to the series following on-set issues with executive producer Jez Butterworth, 101 Studios, and others. So, is Tom Hardy hard to work with, or are these people not wanting to work with Tom Hardy? How do you think this shook down?
Depends on which side you're hearing, because right now we haven't
Hmm.
really heard Tom Hardy's side.
Right.
But according to the article and according to multiple people who worked on the production, Tom Hardy was either late to the set,
Ooh,
tried to give his own notes, even though he's not an executive producer on it, and tried to rewrite the script to match his own like language and dialogue rather than what was written on the page.
got it.
So basically, you're angering your executive producer, your writer, and your
Yeah.
production team.
Yeah, not a great look, at least. So we'll see if he says his part of the story relatively soon or not.
Yep.
All right.
But Mobland did get a season three,
Yes,
so there
it
will
will
be more
continue.
Mobland.
It will continue without Tom Hardy.
Yes.
Speaking of things that will continue or not continue in this case, we go to Greece, where Survivor Greece, the European country's version of the hit competition show, has been put on indefinite pause after a contestant was apparently hit by a tourist boat during filming, resulting in a partial amputation of a left leg. Now, Survivor can be dangerous, but whew, that's a new level. Um, Hopefully, he recovers.
Yeah, production was halted. I don't know how the tourist boat was able to bypass all the productions
You would think that
that
they
was going
block
on.
those off. Yeah.
Yeah, but this happened during either scuba diving or like
Hmm.
a water challenge
Yeah.
uh, where the passing boat clipped the contestant's ankle,
Yeah.
immediately rushed to the hospital, immediately shut down production. Whether or not they will air this season is to be determined.
We'll see.
Probably not, but I'm
Or
surprised.
maybe in an edited form of some sort.
Yeah, I'm surprised something like this doesn't happen more often,
Right.
especially with how popular Survivor is around the world. Not just like Survivor
Yeah.
US, but like the different iterations of Survivor.
At least from what I can tell from the US version, it does seem like they have medical staff on call at all times. There's like a lot of safety precautions happening in the background. So maybe they've it down to a science so that stuff like this does not happen. But yeah, you're right. Every once in a while, something can burst through the seams and cause some chaos, and that's what happened there in Greece. Um, I will be
Oh,
talking
by
about
the way, this did not occur in Greece. This was
no,
Survivor
yeah,
Greece. I
but it's
believe
Survivor
this was
Greece. Yeah.
in what was it, Dominican Republic. I think that's what it
Okay.
said.
Well, you knew what I meant. Not in
Yes.
Greece, but like the the Greece version of the television show. But yeah, I'll be talking about the American version of Survivor later in thoughts. But before then, the next bit takes us to
Off the
FX.
coast of Sauna Island in the Dominican Republic. Yep,
There you go. Okay. Confirmed. All right.
confirmed.
Now let's move on to FX, always announcing new shows. This time they picked up a new series called Very Young Frankenstein. This is, of course, a comedy based on Mel Brooks's 1974 cult classic film. The series for FX and Hulu comes from none other than What We Do in the Shadows, this trio of Stephanie Robinson, Taika Waititi, and Garrett Bosch, and whose cast has been confirmed to include Nikki Crawford, Kumail Nanjiani, and Carrie Elwes. Sure.
Are you excited for this? I know you like what we do in the
Yeah,
shadows. Does this
that
sound like up your alley?
You know what? I totally think that works tonally. I would love to see a show based on the characters from Young Frankenstein by the What We Do in the Shadows people. That sounds like a perfect match, and that's really exciting to hear.
Yeah. Well, FX, this was the last show that they picked up from their upfronts, continuing from what we talked about last week and going straight to series. Not
Cool.
just a pilot, get the full series treatment.
Awesome. Well, I'm looking forward to that already then.
All right.
All right, let's move into television thoughts then. So we have two things on the docket to talk about. I mentioned I watched the
Both were on
finale of.
CBS.
That's true. I mentioned that I finished the season finale of Survivor 50,
Mhm.
but also more timely is something that I did actually manage to catch up on today, which was something we hinted last week, the final episode of Stephen Colbert's Late Show. So, did it live up to the
Let's
hype for you? Was this what you thought the ending of such a television institution would look like? What were your feelings?
Well, I guess we could talk about it fully because there's no really
Yeah.
spoilers to talk
No,
about
no, no.
anymore. So, turns out I was right and wrong that
Ish. Yeah.
ish, because his last guest was not his wife, but his wife did appear in the lead up during the Colbert questions, along with a bunch of other random
Sure.
guests. By the way, this is like the full week, this past week leading up into it,
Yeah.
because a finale is not just a single show, it's the lead up to it as
Well, I
well.
only watched the last one, so I don't
Oh, okay. So
know.
you didn't watch the Monday show
No.
where it was just the cast and crew in the audience, and it was the worst of Colbert
That's
Report or
that's fun.
Colbert, the worst of Late Show, where they had all these ideas that didn't work for one way or another, and it's like, oh yeah, this is what we want to show. It's not like a best of, but rather a worst of,
That's
because
pretty funny.
lots of comedy bits just thrown to the wind there, which is great. That able to show like that creative energy, like they go through a lot of stuff, and not all of it makes it to air. But here's the stuff that we're willing to show of why it didn't make it to air. But yeah, I thought the ending was tasteful. I think is the best way to put it. Especially with the final guest being Sir Paul McCartney,
Hmm.
because it's filmed in the Ed Sullivan Theater where the Beatles made their debut. I thought it was a
Yes.
very fitting
Hmm.
kind of exit for that.
Yeah.
I also really appreciate the final gag of the snowball.
Hmm.
It just being, oh, it was a dream. It could be a dream. Could be the rosebud. Could be elsewhere.
Snow
It-
globe. You said
yes,
snowball, but snow
it's
globe.
it's snow
Yeah.
globe. Yeah, I thought it was
Yeah.
really really sweet, just like mini gag right at the end, just like
Yeah.
and
I do like that they pretty much blew CBS's entire visual effects budget for the calendar year on
yes.
a lot of the stuff with the portal and it was just pure Colbert. Like it just felt like something that he really wanted to do. He wanted to end this on his terms, and I think ultimately he got to at least to the extent of what he was able to do. He had all his people like that he respected on the show. He made sure he gave time to like people from the band even. He let his entire cast and crew come up at the end to dance.
Mhm.
Like how many people can say that they were on stage with Paul McCartney doing a Beatles song? Well, now Stephen
A
Colbert can say he's
lot
one of
more
them.
people. A lot more people can. With Elvis Costello.
Right. Yeah. So it's like just star studded. It makes sense. And yeah, I appreciated that he went out in kind of a fun, joyful way instead of a very dark note that he could have obviously
Hmm.
done instead. I think this was what he wanted to do was very him.
Yeah, I mean, this is not the end of Stephen Colbert. We will see him in
He'll be
further
around.
capacity,
Yeah.
whether in front of the camera or behind. He is
Well,
writing the Lord of the Rings stuff.
it's 2026. You know he's going to do a podcast,
He already did a podcast.
another podcast.
Yes. Yes, I'm surprised Conan wasn't just showing up
Right.
randomly.
That maybe been the one missing piece there, but he's technically not a host of a show right like of a talk show right now. So yeah,
Hmm.
makes sense.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, it was entertaining and it delivered, I think, on what people were hoping it would.
Yeah, and I think that if it was the only show you watched, it was a good one.
Yeah, it was a good one. All right, moving on. I'll just briefly talk about Survivor. They ended the season, this 50th season, just kind of how it began, which is really celebrating the legacy of the show, honoring the people that were from all sorts of different eras of the show over the last 25 years, and ended with a little peek into the next season, which is apparently the beginning of a brand new era of the show. So yeah, it kind of hit all the notes that you'd expect it to. The winner, I think, this is where I will not say spoilers, just in case you haven't caught up. The winner made some sense. You could make an argument for why that person won, so I wasn't super upset. But overall, I think it was a really enjoyable season. And as an entry to the Survivor franchise, I think it was a very effective way of getting an idea of what all the kinds of things that happen on the show were, because it was very literally a fan voted amalgam of all sorts of different things from Survivor's past put in a blender. And it looks like that is going to be the format going forward. They're starting what's called the open era, in which they are going to take all the challenges and elements and twists from previous seasons and randomize them essentially and put them so you don't know what twists are going to come next. Unlike the, I guess, again, just guessing here because I haven't watched the previous seasons, but the more formulaic expected structure of the previous seasons. So yeah, I think that if you are new to Survivor, I do recommend starting here because it is good introduction of the lore, important people in the show's past, important challenges like basic structure, and kind of the difference in gameplay between what they call the old school players and kind of the new school players. So it was almost felt like I was taking a class, learning all the proper nouns and elements of Survivor at the same time as enjoying a reality show. So yeah, it was a good time.
It's always good, like especially having 50 seasons, you're not going to spend the time to go through
No.
every 50 seasons, but
You
having a
can,
you can't, no one's stopping you.
but yeah, you could do that. That's a lot of time,
Yeah,
especially since the seasons used to be much longer from what I learned last night. So that's an investment for sure. But yeah, you're right. Like to get kind of like a recap style version, a Cliff's Notes, if you will, of the show was kind of nice to have.
especially since like because this is Survivor 50, a lot of people who probably dropped off of Survivor would come back for like these the big events, the 25th, the 30th, the 30th, the 50th.
Right. Yeah. The milestones,
Hmm.
if you will. Yeah. So I had a good time, man. And I don't know. Maybe we'll keep going for 51. Maybe we'll just, this is just a staple now. We'll find out.
I also wonder if they're taking a cue from a lot of the streaming services where it seems like where, as I've mentioned here, producers like to fly by the seat of their pants and throw random twists out as they do.
It does seem like that is becoming the norm now, as opposed to the exception for reality show game design.
Hmm.
It looks like they really are. Like the fans just really like when things are constantly to keep being kept on their toes, basically. They want things to constantly surprise them. They don't want it to be obvious. They don't want to expect something to happen or someone to be eliminated.
Hmm.
And that's absolutely delivered on the twists and intends to do so in the future.
Sounds good. Sounds like Survivor's going to keep surviving.
Yep. All right. Anything else in television before we move on?
One last bit. Hacks had the
Yes.
penultimate season finale, which kind of also served like a season finale. A lot of shows do this where they've run a long time, where they have
Right.
their season finale at the penultimate episode, and then kind of a epilogue
Yeah,
cap
an
of just
epilogue
the main
style.
two characters for
Right.
the actual finale.
Yeah. So that's what they're doing here.
Yep,
And that's a series finale, right?
that is the
Coming up?
series finale.
Yeah.
So
So
that's
yeah, we'll
next
catch
week.
up soon. Yep, we'll talk about that next week. All right, in the meantime, let's move on to cancellations and renewals.
What am I no longer watching?
Soon, very, very soon. Thank God. Emily in Paris will be over.
Tell
Netflix
me how
has
you really
confirmed
feel.
the sixth. Yeah, now you know how I really feel. The sixth season will be its last on Netflix. So say goodbye to Emily. You don't have to deal with her any longer. Next up,
Bye, Emily.
bye Emily. Next up, Hulu is bringing back The Testaments for a second season.
This is that spin-off from The Handmaid's Tale.
Right. So more Handmaid's Tale spinoff if you want that kind of thing. All right. Next up, We have two deaths to talk about. First up, Tom Kane, age 64, a voice actor, was in the cast in such programs as the Powerpuff Girls, multiple Star Wars shows, The Wild Thornberrys, and Archer. So a voice acting legend, um, kind of young at 64.
Yeah, he
Uh,
was Professor Utonium
yeah,
on the Powerpuff Girls.
yeah.
He was Wheelhouse in Archer, and various voices within the Star Wars animated universe and video games. I believe include like Obi-Wan Kenobi and
Hmm.
Admiral Akbar, just to name a few.
Wow. Okay. So yeah, a lot of memorable roles for sure.
Yes.
But then we also have a death in the world of NASCAR, as you mentioned briefly earlier. Kyle Busch, at the very young age of 41, has passed. Of course, a two-time NASCAR champion in 2015 and 2019, two times regular season champion in 2018 and 2019, seven-time Truck Series champion 2010, 2013 through 17, and then also in 2019. Busy 2019 for Kyle Busch. Ninth all-time NASCAR Cup Series wins and first in overall wins between the top three NASCAR divisions. He also, of course, owned Kyle Busch Motorsports, the Kyle Busch Foundation, and Kyle's Miles program. And I will hand this to you because you have probably a lot more knowledge of Kyle's career than I do.
Yes, the younger brother of Kurt Busch, but only by a couple of years. Kyle Busch was a Titan in the NASCAR series, coming out on a really, really young age of 18. Technically, he would have come out sooner, but NASCAR had instituted a rule specifically
Yeah.
stopping him to come out that drivers had to be 18 in order to compete.
Mm,
Otherwise, he would have come out 2 years prior
yeah.
because he was just that good. Because he competed in the other series, the Truck Series, the Xfinity Series. But he did eventually become a full NASCAR driver, NASCAR champion 2 times. But people often asked, why do you continue to compete in the Truck Series when you're a NASCAR champion?
Yeah.
And this past weekend, he actually won the Truck Series race. And in
Wow.
his post drive interview, he said, quote, because you never know when it's going to be your last one.
Oof. That's rough.
Um, so
Mm,
that's how he left. He was training this week for the upcoming Coca-Cola 600 race. He will not be a part
mm.
of that race.
Right.
There will be a moment of silence held at all three of those previous races that I talked about: the Monaco Grand Prix, the Indianapolis 500, and of course the Coca-Cola 600,
Yeah.
because Kyle Busch was that guy, that influential. Um, he will he's holds, as you mentioned, the all-time wins across all three levels of NASCAR.
Hmm.
He continuously competed. He continuously was one of the best drivers. Sometimes you hated him because your driver would be beat out by him.
Right.
I mean, that's how you get like all those wins.
Hmm.
Uh, but yeah, there's several tributes that'll be going on during the Coca-Cola 600 race,
Yeah.
uh, including the suspended use of the number 8 car. And they'll put a fresh 8 on the grass entering turn 1.
Mm,
And one thing that I will see if they do is have everyone pit at the start of lap 8.
mm.
I'll see
Okay.
that if the drivers do that during the race.
Okay.
But
All
yeah,
right.
but um, yeah, 41 is very young.
Hmm.
Something like this hasn't like hit the racing world since Dale Earnhardt
Yeah, that's what I
tragically
immediately
died.
thought of too. Yeah.
Yeah, well, he died on the track. Well, he died
Right.
after that, but from a crash on the track.
Right.
This
So a little different
was a
context,
little
but
different
still.
content. Yeah.
But
But yeah,
still, yeah, it's interesting timing considering that, yeah, like with all these races happening this weekend and it being right before Memorial Day weekend, I'm sure, like you said, there'll be plenty of tributes, a lot of people pouring out support for the family, like just stories about his career and who he was as a person. Like, yeah, it'll be a celebration of life, I think, above all.
yeah, especially this Memorial weekend, like I said, with
Yeah,
three separate
right.
races.
Yeah. So, all right. Okay, well, on that note, we have to pivot somehow to the movie section.
Sorry,
Try to
let me
cheer
clean up
up
my
this
face here.
place. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll let you cool down while I introduce the movie section with the
All right.
weekend box office numbers. We were wrong, folks. We were dead wrong because, and I did have this thought. I will be, to be fair, I had this thought while we were talking about this on the show last week, and I didn't vocalize it. Maybe I should have. But I did think, well, there is probably an outside chance that Michael just comes back and becomes your number one again. And well, will you have it? That's exactly what happened. Michael is your number one movie again after a week gone off of the number one spot with $26 million. So that puts it at 282 million for the domestic total thus far. While your number two is The Devil Wears Prada 2, which made $17 million this week. That's at 175. So yes, I take the loss, but so do you
Yep.
because I don't even see In the Gray in the top five, but we'll get there.
No, we'll get there.
Your number three movie is Obsession, which debuted to at number three, which with $17 million this week. Number four, Mortal Kombat 2, with $13 million this week. That's at 62. And number five, The Sheep Detectives, sticks around $9.5 million. That's at 29. Pump up those numbers, folks. That needs to be a bigger hit. And then, like I mentioned, way down at number nine, In the Gray only made $2.9 million. And then even further down, number 10, Is God Is only made 2.2.
Yep, and both of those were your new releases, which means no one saw anything
Yes.
new.
No one really cared about the new releases. However, that will change this weekend. As you mentioned earlier in the show, it is Memorial Day weekend, the unofficial kickoff of the summer movie season, and we have our first round of summer films being released this week. We start with Passenger, which is probably not in that kind of rank, but
No, this is singular passenger, not to be confused with
yes,
passengers.
Passengers is a different movie. You're right.
Yes, this is your horror movie
Right.
from Paramount Pictures.
Yes.
And I'm only
But
putting it here because I saw a lot of ads while watching Stephen Colbert.
fair enough. We also have something called I Love Boosters.
Yep, this is from Boots Riley, who is
Ah, it's the new
hawking this
Boots
on social
Riley.
media
Got
everywhere,
it.
saying, please
Okay.
see this film opening weekend. Otherwise, you probably won't see it anywhere.
That's why he was in the Criterion closet this week. Makes
Yes.
sense. And then, of course, last, but I guess not least, your likely number one this weekend, which is Star Wars, The Mandalorian, and Grogu.
Yep.
So if you want to see that weird baby Yoda on a giant screen, here's your
Hey,
chance.
he's not that weird.
He's pretty weird. Have you ever just considered a Yoda?
Yeah, I know. He's right there.
Ears,
Right there.
yeah. Are you seeing this?
Not this weekend, which probably plays into why it's projected to do pretty low.
I mean, low for a Star Wars film. Let's be fair. Like, it's going to be your number one. It's going to do business because it's Star Wars. But you're right. It does seem like projections have it on the lower end. I don't know. We could probably compare this to something like it maybe I don't know, a Solo. I don't know. One of the lesser of the Star Wars theatrical
Well,
released films,
this is
right?
the first theatrical Star Wars release since,
Since
no, since The Rise of Skywalker,
since Rise of Skywalker, right?
which was
Yeah.
2019. Solo was 2018.
Right. That makes sense.
Solo had an opening weekend of $84 million.
Well, it is your turn to choose a number here. So, are you looking at those predictions right now? Do you have a ballpark of what they're expecting?
They're saying that it may do as low as Solo,
Hmm.
but we are including the entire weekend here
Full.
of
Okay, so
that
we're doing
Monday.
full 5 day here. Okay.
Yes.
So, what's pick a number then?
Let's
What are
put
you
it
thinking?
at 100,
100? Okay.
which for a Star Wars movie is still
Yeah.
low.
Still low for a Star Wars movie. Okay, and now what are you saying? Over or under that?
Oof.
I'll let you choose here. You
All right.
dig your own grave here.
Okay. I'm usually wrong on this, but
Yeah.
for the sake of Star Wars and for the sake of
Okay.
Mando and Grogu, I want it to be over 100.
So you're gonna go over here. I mean, yes, but what you want to happen does not necessarily line up with what will happen.
Well, yeah, like I wanted In the Gray to be your top movie, but it wasn't.
Clearly, you established this.
I
So
established my
yeah,
wants do not necessarily meet reality.
that's okay. I'm okay with taking under. I think I will lose. I do think you will win here. I do think, like I said, it is still Star Wars. People do like that weird guy. People like Pedro
Stop
Pascal.
calling him weird.
He's weird. Yodas are weird. I'm sorry. They just are.
Say it to his Lego
Anyway.
face.
But yeah, I'll take that. I'll take this. If it ends up at like 95, then I'll be satisfied.
All right, let's wrap this up here.
Yes, we will wrap up the show with some movie bits, this time taking us to some projects in development. Mint. We
Yeah.
start with none other than Abbott Elementary star Quinta Brunson, who has a plan now to develop and star in a Betty Boop feature film. Yes, you heard that right.
Who's asking for this? Why is she attached to this?
There's been
Questions to
some,
be answered?
well, yes, that's fair. But there has been some heat behind the IP as of late. Just we
Hmm.
are just fresh off of a Broadway run of a musical about the Boop character, so it's not like there hasn't been any media about Betty Boop lately. That does exist, and at least musical theater people know that happened.
Yeah, I wonder how much of this is like kind of curtailing off the success of Barbie 2 years ago
That
still.
seems more likely, right? Like that seems, but I do think that that's kind of an inspired choice for Quinta Brunson to be involved in. I
Yeah,
do think that's an interesting person to be behind this project, and it makes it more interesting than if it was someone else, is what I will say. I do trust her at least enough to make this at least like a new version of the character. So there's that. So sure, why
yeah,
not?
sure.
And then moving on, we have news from Ice Cube and Mike Epps, who have confirmed that last Friday, another film in their Friday franchise, is in the works with Chris Tucker in talks to return. Chris Tucker, who has actually been kind of mysterious over the last couple decades and hasn't been seen a lot, choosing to come back to the Friday franchise. So there you go.
I think this may work. I
Sure.
think it's
Why
also
not?
one of those, oh, 40 years, 30 years later, they're
Yeah,
still the same characters that they were.
right. Here's a question. Does Ice Cube's real son, O'Shea Jackson Jr., play his son in Last Friday?
You have to.
Do you think that
I
happens?
think you
Like,
have
seems
to.
obvious, right?
Yeah.
Just invent a character for him. All right, what's he up to, right? Like, who knows? Then last, or not lastly, second to last here, we have news from Arnold Schwarzenegger, who, yes, still wants to be in a movie, I guess, or at least be involved in a film. He has confirmed that a new film in the Conan the Barbarian franchise, King Conan, is set to film in 2027 and is being directed by Christopher McQuarrie.
Yes, this is the next Christopher McQuarrie film. Is Arnold going to be King Conan?
I don't know. Do you think
I
he's
mean,
producing this? Do you think he's in it? Like what?
if he's in it, he won't be in it for very long. It's more of
No.
a passing of the mantle to who's the next King
Yeah.
Conan. I am Conan.
Yeah.
I am
Past that.
king. I have died. Who shall take up the throne then?
All right, then that's the question then. Cast that barbarian.
You can see that barbarian later this year in Masters of the Universe. And no, not
I
Jared
don't
Leto.
I don't think they're just gonna do that again. Like
Oh, why
I
not?
think no, you get somebody else. I don't know. But
All right.
someone's job to figure that out, not mine. And then last but probably least, um, a Rick and Morty movie, which is a shocker this hasn't already happened, is officially confirmed to be under development by co-creator Dan Harmon. I like you. This story has creator Dan Harmon, which is very funny to me. Are we just pretending that that guy doesn't exist? I mean,
Yes.
sure, I would like that world, but we don't live in that world.
Yes. He
Um,
is no longer a part of the Rick and Morty franchise.
but sure, yes,
So,
Dan Harmon, the creator of Rick and Morty. Let's just
yeah,
go with that
and
now.
no one else.
No one else. Crickets chirp in the background. Yes, like I said, surprised this hasn't already happened, especially during the peak of when people were Szechuan sauce mad and obsessed with Rick
Yeah,
and Morty. But sure, why not? Sure, I don't know. Fine, do a movie. Um, yeah, because I feel like we've had like a handful of years now where there was a blessed silence around Rick and Morty. Nobody really talked about it, and yet here we go again.
well, this announcement comes on the heels of a new season appearing shortly.
Okay. I
I
don't
think it's this
understand how
weekend.
Adult Swim does that, where it's just like a show will just disappear and then they'll just bring it back years later, like
Uh,
nothing happened.
because Adult Swim does that.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it.
Because cartoons take a while to produce.
That's true. All right. That'll do it for the movie bits, and that'll do it for the movie section. And guess what? That'll do it for the
Yeah.
Media Boat podcast this
Oh, I
week.
was right. This weekend, Sunday, is
This
season 9
weekend. There we
premiere.
go. What timing? All right. So that'll do it. We'll be back next week for more. We'll have, I don't know, stuff to talk about with the ongoing playoffs.
Next
We will
week we'll be
have
in. Oh no, we won't be in June. Oh wow, we'll be in May.
It will still be May next week. It is
Yes.
the last podcast in May next week. But yes, May is taking its sweet time over here. But yeah, we'll have all sorts of stuff. So tune in next time for more. Meanwhile, we've got some fish to catch.
Yeah, we do. Well, are we catching the fish?
Well, no, we're not catching them. They've already. Let me rephrase that. We are not going to go fishing. That's not something that I like to do remotely. Trust me, I've been on a boat once, open water fishing, and I will never do that again.
Yes. We
You were
will
there.
be partying with the fishes,
Yes, we will be
which is
partying
a
with
joke
fishes.
just for us because no one knows what we're doing.
Yes. All right.
Okay,
So we'll
bye.
see you guys next week.
And with
Bye.
more news, more thoughts,
Wait,
and
I
more
didn't do
of
the sign
us.
up stuff. Hold on. Hold on. I didn't do
You
any of
know
the
where to
sign up
sign
stuff.
us up. We're at Media
All
Boat
right. Search
everywhere.
Media Boat
All right.
Podcast on the internet and you'll find us. And yeah, email us at mediaboatpodcast@gmail.com and we'll read your emails here. Comments, feedback about the show, questions, whatever it may be. All right. We'll see you guys next time.
Okay, bye.